Day 2, Hogan Island to Deal Island. Initially, this was supposed to be our crossing day to Hogan, but you chased the weather. We were a day ahead of schedule and we were going Hogan to Deal, which is part of the Kent group. Jared had done up our charting maps with the bearing and distance for each day, and we had the GPS mapping set up. We had our near maps on the deck of the boat with the course over ground and the pictures of our arrival zones. It was a beautiful morning. Hogan looked gorgeous and I would have loved to have spent the day exploring, swimming, snorkeling and maybe even fishing. We were expecting a light crosswind at around 7 knots and a gentle swell coming from behind us on our starboard side. Jared had slept well in our 5-star hut for the night. I'd slept relatively poorly. We spoke with Poz from the saddle before leaving and were prepared for a relatively cruisy day. We left around 8 a.m. We could clearly see Deal and Dover Islands. In fact, we could see them from 10 kilometres out of Hogan the day before. There is something reassuring about seeing a destination when you start the day.
Hogan Island. Off in the distance there is Deal Island. That's where we're off to today. Beautiful little bay here. This is our hut we stayed in last night. Pleasant little place, nice and warm. It was a bit breezy in the afternoon, so it doesn't look like much, but when you're cold and shivering, it's a nice little spot to stay. It was dry and warm and no breeze on us. Island's beautiful. Penguins accosted us last night, so I was sitting down on tussock grass trying to talk to someone on the phone about weather reports for the day, and the penguin ran up to me and started screaming. So I gave him a little pat and off he walked. Pity I didn't get a picture of it.
Day 2. How you feeling?
We did see a shark, although it was a distance away, and we saw a lot of seabirds. The albatross from yesterday decided to land right next to us in the water. One of the problems being in the middle of the ocean in a kayak is the logistics of eating and toilet stops. You can't just get out of the kayak and go and find a toilet or a tree.
You're in the middle of Bass Strait. Halfway there for day 2.
We'd gotten into the routine of a 5-minute planned break each hour. Water, nutrition, piss in the bottle, readjust, paddle again. This worked well and kept the mood up. The approach to Deal was pretty good. We came around the southern side of Dover. Unfortunately, the tide was low. If the tide is high, you can sneak through the washway between Erith and Dover, taking a couple of kilometres off the trip. The paddle up the Murray Pass is beautiful. The water is amazing. The upset stomach from the night before was gone, but I still felt weak and dizzy. Not a great feeling in the middle of the ocean in a boat. I mentioned this briefly to Jared, but didn't really let on the intensity.
42.7 kilometres.
Often not helpful. Suck it up and move on. We landed at East Cove near the old jetty. It was gorgeous. I didn't want to walk up the hill to the museum, but we weren't coming back anytime soon, so Jared was keen. It was well worth it. We saw more Cape Barren geese on the way up, and Bennett's wallabies were everywhere. The history of the island is fascinating. We spent some time talking with the caretakers who shared some water and Anzac cookies with us. After talking with them, a future plan was made for my wife and I to put our name down to do a 3-month stint as caretakers. The island was incredibly scenic and quiet. They also ferried our gear up from the beach on the quad bike, which was really helpful. We were pretty tired after 2 big days. We unpacked our gear, then spoke to Poz and went and watched the sunset over Dover Island. The view from Telstra Chair is spectacular. So far the trip was going well. Our course over ground had been pretty much spot on. Working together in a 2-person kayak generally means faster average speeds and not getting carried backwards by wind or tide when having inevitable hydration, nutrition and rest breaks. We were working well together. Jared had shocking chafing under one arm and a sore wrist. We strapped the wrist and put some cream on the chafe. We needed an early departure in the morning, so got to sleep relatively early that night.